Viva Chile, viva Chile, con Chile quiero.
Welcome back to Red Hot Chile. This is your host, Dr. John Cobin. Glad to be here in Santiago, Chile, and not where you are, even though things aren't exactly rosy down here in some respects when we consider the political process and things that have been happening in the last month or so. And I've not hidden that from you. Of course, I've been very clear and upfront telling you all about some of the problems that Chile's had through the influence of the left. We've talked about the power of the evangelical vote, how it tends to be right-wing or libertarian, and not this last time certainly wasn't. In fact, latest blog entry I put up showed the election results in which the runoff election, in which the socialist or center-left candidate Michelle Bachelet just ran away with it. Talk about a landslide. 62% of the vote went to her. Very few counties, or comunas I should say, here in Chile actually voted for Mate, the libertarian-minded person. She's not really a libertarian, too much of a populist in the end, trying to gain all the votes, and it really killed her. I mean, she made the right stay home. Believe it or not, only 42% of registered voters voted in a presidential runoff election, and that just really threw it in a big way to the left, who are always more faithful voters. But even they stayed home. I mean, there's 1 million people voted less on December 15th than did on November 17th. Because people just figured that it was a foregone conclusion what would happen, and they were correct. It was in fact a foregone conclusion. Well, what we see is as a result of a protest in a large respect from the right. They just did not like to have to go through this populist. They've been through enough of these center-right politicians and candidates. They want a president who's truly right-wing, who's going to release the people put in jail under the Pinochet regime unjustly, without trial and without being proven guilty, just because the courts are run by leftists. And the left is a powerful force in this country. And some people were shaking in their boots saying, well, 6 of the 120 people that are elected to Congress now are communists. Well, there are certainly pockets of communists in Chile, in the north particularly, in south central Santiago, and in some places just south of Concepcion. So it's not surprising they could actually elect one, because there's no gerrymandering rules like in the U.S. that mixes up the vote so much. You get concentrations of one kind of people or another, just like you do with the right. There are areas which a libertarian could be elected here. And in fact, many people who have been elected from the right, whether it be in the Renovación Nacional or the Unidad Popular Independiente, I'm mixing myself with the Indian. Unión Democrática Independiente, the UDI party, which is the other right-wing party. There are plenty of libertarians in there. In fact, there are more than 6 by far, more than 6 serious libertarians in Chile to outweigh the communist influence. But at any rate, when you look at Chilean politics, certainly you see the result of a lot of leftist activity, and we are very sad for that here. And I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm going to tell you I'm very, very sad, very ashamed, and a little bit worried for what Chile's future is now that we have seen this particular thing happen. Now, hopefully, we will have the benefit of 2 years of disgusting results from the socialist policies, and then in 2 years we'll have the midterm elections for Congress, and people will be able to again make a better choice and put in some people in power in the Congress that takes us a bit out of this quagmire that we're in. Remember, we're right on the brink of trouble, folks, in the sense that 57% is the magic number for the left, where they can start making structural changes to things as far as the houses of Congress. They've got 55% in one house and 56% in the other. One vote in either, and they can do it. Bachelet has been president before. She claims she's going to be more radical now than beforehand. I don't know that that's the case. I think she's too pragmatic about that. But sure, she's been talking about installing some welfare state stuff, some things that are very worrisome. And anyway, that's what we have to look forward to and see, just exactly what she does. Latin America is full of these parasites that are communists, and whether it be in obviously Argentina or Venezuela or Bolivia or Ecuador, but even in Uruguay and Brazil, things aren't too rosy. I mean, Latin America is full of people that want to live at the expense of others, and the communist idea is a very welcome idea for them, a socialist idea. Chile has escaped that for so many years now, since the overthrow and ouster, effectively, of socialist president Salvador Allende in 1973. And the public policies that have been installed, the classical liberal policies, have been a tremendous boon for the country. And we've seen amazing growth here. It's by far the richest per capita nation in Latin America. You know, the left gripes about the income gap being too great, you know, the wealth gap, whatever, between rich and poor. In reality, who cares? I mean, just if somebody's got, you know, $100 billion and, you know, it's a million times more than you have, or whatever, and next year they have twice as much, and now they have 2 million times more than you have, it really doesn't affect you so much. What you're interested in is that the money you're making today is dwarfed by the money you're going to be making in 5 or 10, 15 years from now. That's what you want to know, that you're going to have a future, a greater opportunity. Not everybody can be born with a silver spoon in their mouths or have a tremendous opportunity in life and become very, very wealthy. But at least to have an opportunity and a hope that we can go forward and improve our lives needs to be there. And that's what Chile has offered people for so many years. Now, will that change now? Well, I sure hope not. I mean, I've made Chile my permanent home starting in 1996. I did go back to the beleaguered United States for a number of years in the middle of the last decade. But you know, I'm back in Chile to stay, and I don't intend to go unless it becomes truly that communist backwater again, and I don't think that's going to happen. There are too many people here who remember, and too many people who do not want to imitate the horrible conditions that their neighbors are in, whether it's been, again, Argentina, Ecuador, Bolivia, or Venezuela. Now, there are a lot of stupid people in Chile, just like there are in your country or anywhere else in the world. I mean, there are ignorant people, people that don't understand economics. There are people that are full of envy and covetousness and these kinds of things, and they're going to do whatever they can to try to get something from somebody else. And that's going to be the case always. Whether or not they have enough power right now, those kinds of people, or the numbers actually, to really make some changes, is really questionable. Now, the main thing that these power brokers like Bachelet do is they get into power, and the crony capitalist kind of system is around them, and they're able to sell favors to people, to help business along by giving them monopoly privileges, and it's a big rent-seeking game, as we call it in economics. And although that's not good, it's certainly far better than living in some kind of totalitarian regime under communists, where people are killed, as they so often were in the 20th century, or plundered completely. And so, you know, in that case, you expect taxes to go up, and efficiency to go down, and quality to go down, and the economy to stagnate, and friends to get paid off, and thieves to romp and ravage. But hopefully it's not forever. And as Sir Mojinis Perez Arce said recently, as a great right-wing commentarist in Chile, well, we see the only light at the end of the tunnel we see right now is in 4 years when we have another election. I agree with him, but hopefully we can hold on that long and do very well. So overall, I want to give some encouraging words, but first of all, we're going to take this break on the Overseas Radio Network. Okay, I think for our YouTube viewers, I'm going to cut off the video here and go back to work and finish up the stuff I need to do between segments for the radio show. Glad you're enjoying the show and watching Red Hot Chili or listening to Red Hot Chili. Remember, the Overseas Radio Network airs this live, so to speak, even though it's technically pre-recorded. Certainly pre-recorded, not technically. It's really pre-recorded, but it's aired live for the first time, I guess, at noon on Fridays at New York time. And I hope that you'll continue to check in and listen for an hour what's going on in Chile, as well as to, you know, if you can't make it that particular time, listen to the reruns over the weekend or on Monday morning. Download the program, as thousands of people do, so that you can keep up with what's going on here in this great country. So I'll sign off now. This is Dr. John Cobin saying goodbye, and hope to see you here in Chile real soon.